From the Smokin' Delta Voodoo release, that is Every Mother's Nightmare with Push, featuring Rick Rule. Rick Rule of Her Mother's Nightmare.
Hey, it's Rick Rule here. Rick Rule. Nice guy.
Yes, he's a really nice guy. Well, speaking of Push, some Michigan officials want to push the darkies right out of the city.
Oh, no. By darkies, you mean what?
The Indians.
Oh, okay. In that case, fine. You can use that term then.
Well, once again, social media strikes.
Oh, boy.
People just can't keep their opinions off of social media or be making comments out in public, especially when you're a public official.
Yeah, they should stop doing that like I do.
Yeah, you're not exactly a public official, but regardless of that, I'm sure that most people who keep up with the news know that Flint, Michigan is facing a water crisis over there.
What? You're kidding.
Well, they've been facing a water crisis because of lead in the water. And, it's just unfiltered, and it's, in this day and age, it's hard to believe that, a major city is facing these kind of problems.
And it's been going on for so long. How have they not fixed it?
Well, again, it's all money driven. Everything is money driven.
Right.
An official at an agency that manages foreclosed homes in Flint, Michigan, has resigned after recording Surface Sunday, in which he blames the city's water crisis on the niggers who don't pay their bills.
Oh, Jesus, really?
He did.
That's what he said?
That's what he said.
Oh, my God.
That is what he said.
Okay.
Again, I don't get why people can't put a filter on their expression when it comes to doing their job that affects their livelihood.
Yeah. So he said this where? On social media or in his car?
Well, he was saying this somewhere, and somehow somebody captured it on audio.
Right.
We'll find out here.
All right.
So he resigned after a recording Surface Sunday in which he blamed the city's water crisis on niggers who don't pay their bills. Phil Stair resigned as sales manager of the Genesee County Land Bank. The bank's executive director, Michael Wildman, told M Live on Monday.
Okay.
What is M Live?
It's the station before N Live.
Okay. Local environmental activist Chelsea Lyons recorded Stair explaining in May why he thought Flint, a city mired in debt, switched from buying Detroit's pre-treated Lake Huron water to using Flint River water, which sparked the crisis that has left the city without safe drinking water for several years.
How in the hell?
Several years.
Man, oh man. How would you even stay there? Can you take a bath?
I don't know that anybody knew how bad it was until, problems started cropping up. Who knows?
Until they started growing another head out their neck or something. This is like taking a fucking shower in Fukushima water.
Yeah, more or less.
Ugh. All right.
After the 2014 switch, the city's water plant failed to properly treat the more toxic water under orders from state officials, causing lead from old pipes to leach into the city water. But in his racist remarks, Stair traces the crisis to residents not paying their water bills.
So, because they didn't pay the bills, they didn't, filter the water?
Well, they didn't have the money to do it properly, is what they're saying, is that they ran with a shortfall, and so they couldn't afford whatever proper filtering, that they needed, so they went without.
All right, now here, let's play this out. And I'm going to share something about you that people don't know.
Okay.
You formerly, at one point in your life, worked in a water treatment position.
Yes, I sold wastewater treatment equipment. Yes, that is correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know a little bit about how this process works.
I do know a little bit about it. Yes, I do.
The lack of funds would not stop the water from being treated, correct?
Well, if they're using certain chemicals, it's kind of like, do you have a water softener in your house?
I don't anymore, but I used to.
Okay. Well, you had to charge that with salt, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you ran short of money, you couldn't go down to the hardware store or Home Depot or wherever, Lowe's, and go buy those 50-pound bags of salt.
Okay.
So this is equivalent to that.
And you're going to tell me that this city chose to spend money on anything above this problem?
Well, again, I don't know that answer, but I'm just saying that it does take money to either pay the employees who work at the wastewater treatment plant or the purification plant. It does take chemicals. It does take product to do that.
They do have 3 professional sports teams there
In Flint?
In Michigan.
Yeah, but not in Flint.
Yeah, but wouldn't the state? I get, and I have not followed this story. I've just been like a whatever with the story. At some point, does the state not go in and file for a state of emergency to get this fixed?
If they know about it.
They know about it now.
Well, they know about it now, but my point is up until that point, maybe the city officials didn't reveal it.
Okay.
It's just like, well, shit, we can't afford this. It's like, well, let's just do the best we can with what we got.
There got to be somebody going to jail for this,
well,
right?
there could quite possibly be. I don't know.
All right.
But in the racist remarks, Stare traces the crisis back to residents not paying their water bills. Detroit was charging all its customers for the cost they weren't collecting from their residents. They weren't shutting the water off. They were letting bills go forever, but they are charging everybody else. They covered for them. Well, Flint has the same problem as Detroit. Fucking niggers don't pay their bills. Believe me, I deal with them.
Oof. Yeah, he resigning might have been a good idea.
Yeah. I don't want to call them niggers. Shit. I have shit. I just went to Myrtle Beach, 24 guys, and I was the only white guy.
Wow.
I got friends. I mean, there's trash, and then there's people that do this. They just don't pay their bills. Well, Detroit didn't collect on their bills, so they charged everybody else, but Flint had to pay the bills to Detroit.
Okay. He's not helping his cause here.
Well, that's the recording that was recorded of him talking.
So basically, it's like, they're not niggers, but I have black friends, so it's okay that I say that.
Yeah.
Wow.
The comment comes about 1 minute into a 20-minute audio recording published by the liberal news site Truth Against the Machine.
Oh, good. That's good.
Is that Rage Against the Machine?
Apparently, it's their newspaper.
Lyons did not immediately return a request for comment about the recording. She told M Live she and another woman met Stare at a local bar, and she made the recording over 2 days.
Oh, my God.
So this guy is at a bar.
This guy was just picking up some chick.
Well, he may have went there. Who knows? I don't know. And maybe was doing like an interview. I don't know what happened here, but the audio recording is here, and we'll play it.
All right.
All right. Stare's allegation. It's just stupid. People do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Stare's allegation that unpaid bills caused the Flint water crisis drastically differs from most accounts. Politicians, activists, and others have heaped blame on officials at every level of government for ignoring the crisis in its early stages, as residents repeatedly raised concerns that their tap water had a funny smell, a color, and taste, and was making them sick. So there you go. People just kind of covering that up. It's just like, well, let's not report that to the state.
Yeah, no kidding. Ooh.
Michigan Governor Rick Snyder did not acknowledge the crisis until late in 2015, after experts found that there was a sharp increase in the number of children with elevated lead levels in their blood. There's no safe exposure level to lead, a harmful neurotoxin that can affect brain development. Stair also blamed Snyder for not stepping in earlier when Flint was negotiating its water service contract with broke-ass Detroit. Broke-ass Detroit.
Broke-ass Detroit here.
Experts had called the crisis an example of environmental racism, saying that it would have been handled differently if Flint weren't a majority black city where 40% of the residents live below poverty line. Disaster represents a complete failure of the government rooted in systematic racism. Snyder's Civil Rights Commission concluded in a damning report released in February. Flint residents have had to pay some of the highest rates for drinking water in the county. The state gave residents discounts on water bills after acknowledging the emergency, but suspended the credits earlier in the year, a decision that rankled locals who were paying for contaminated water. Ugh. Flint warned 8,000 homeowners last month that they could be hit with a tax lien, legal claims against their property, if they fallen more than 6 months behind on their water bill. How much is your water bill, or do you have one?
I have one. It's like $40 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 30, 40, something like that.
All right, so that's $40 a month times 6, so that's $240?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Genesee County could then foreclose on their homes and liens and transfer their ownership to the Genesee County Land Bank. Flint County City Council voted to place a 1-year moratorium on tax liens a couple of weeks after the city started sending out notices.
So they would literally put a tax lien on $240?
Apparently.
Jesus.
The land bank plays a critical role in the city struggling with blight and abandonment, overseeing a major program to demolish vacant homes. In Lyons' recording, Stair denigrates the Flint residents he was supposed to serve, complaining about fucking deadbeats he claims as destroying the neighborhood.
Wow.
The people are still the people, Stair said. They fuck the houses up and they leave, and then we tear them down. They just go somewhere else and just fuck up those houses too.
My goodness. This guy really didn't want to keep his gig, did he?
U.S. Representative Dan Kildee, a Flint Democrat who has advocated for his constituents throughout the crisis, condemned Stair's comment on Twitter. Why are these people always commenting on social media?
It's the place to be, dude. Didn't you learn that earlier this week?
Oh, my God. Founded the land bank in 2004 when he was Genesee County's treasurer, and Stair says that Kildee hired him.
Hired him?
Yeah, this Stair was hired by this guy, this Dan Kildee.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's regretting it. So on Twitter, Representative Dan Kildee says this behavior is awful and indefensible. Phil Stair should be fired or resign immediately.
Mm-hmm. I'll take care of that.
Yeah. Wildman, the bank's executive director, on Monday, apologized for his former employee's remarks on Monday, according to Michigan radio.
Well, that's good.
We are
outraged.
How did you know that? By the offensive statements and are committed to taking all the steps necessary to rebuild public trust.
All right, now in this one, come on, you got to side with me. This guy clearly racist.
He did, absolutely.
Clearly, this is a racist story.
There's no defending this guy's comments.
What the hell?
But this old dude, there's a picture of him, and he's sitting in a bar, just spouting off as if, fuck them niggers, they don't pay their bills, blah, blah, blah. They ruin the houses, and then move on and ruin another house.
My God.
All right, you want to hear the audio?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's hear this guy.
I don't really know that much.
What caused it? And it was really a failure on the part of the governor to step in. Is they're bringing a new pipeline from Lake Huron to Flint. I live in Mount Clemens. When I was a kid, they were building the pipeline because Detroit used to get their water out of Lake St. Clair. But Lake St. Clair is too fucked up, so they dug a pipeline from Port Huron to Detroit. At the same time, General Motors, I know it's General Motors, wanted higher quality water here. So they got with them to say, well, if you're digging that pipe there, you got a contract with the pipe, bring it to Flint. So they did it at the same time. Because I grew up on Flint, our Detroit water. And so they did it. Well, when this whole thing changed, Detroit was charging all its customers for the cost. They weren't collecting from their residents. They weren't shutting water off. And they were letting bills go forever, but they were charging everybody else. They covered it. Well, Flint has the same problem as Detroit. Some niggers don't pay the bill. Believe me, I deal with them. But I don't want to call them niggers. I just went to Myrtle Beach with 24 guys, and I was the only white guy. I got friends. I mean, there's trash, and there's people that do this. They just don't pay their bills. Well, Detroit didn't collect their bills, so they charged everybody else. But Flint had to pay their bill to Detroit because they weren't Detroit. Well, they needed a 3-year extension on the contract to get on the new pipeline.
All right, so it sounds like they're driving in a car.
Right.
And he's just like pontificating in the car.
What a dummy.
So she's recording all this. You can hear the car radio playing, and he's just like, giving his thoughts and opinion on how things all came together or how it all fell apart.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, he needs to be fired.
Yeah, well, he resigned. He quit.
I'd imagine he's not going to still be a basketball coach.
I don't imagine.
Probably not.
I don't imagine.